So here we have, this is another one, is try out Classcraft for some friendly competition. This is a cool one, Drake. I understand you've been trying it in your own class, and then you want to start bringing it on a class-to-class level in your school.
Yeah, we had just broke into it. I had a fellow teacher who did Classcraft, and I mean, I was a Warcraft kid all through college and everything. So when I heard Classcraft could incorporate that gaming element with the students, and Classcraft is really really up their game. They've got mini lessons and mini quizzes that are just kind of like side adventures. And what happened with my kids, because I was talking to them about it in the third quarter before we went on spring break, and they're like, "Oh, great, Finney's got another crazy idea." And then all of a sudden, I looked at him. I said, "But hey, if you get enough points, you can unlock pets." And I threw it up on the screen, and the whole class, guys, gals across, were like, "We get pets," and that was the buy-in. Um, and then when I started talking about them, what my vision was to go on to it, which we didn't get to do because we didn't go back in fourth quarter. Um, but I stole the idea from a teacher because I have the only two-story building in the campus, and he was below me, and he would have points, and they would take over the world based on their quizzes points and get stuff. So the kids, knowing I like fantasies, they're like, "Well, can we tie it into some fantasy worlds?" So I had my wife with her cricket start, designing like Narnia and Mordor and Azeroth, and every period's going to get their own land, and I'm going to have it to be where once one group controls the whole land, then they can start invading the other classes. And that was actually brought to me by my freshmen because they wanted to take on the seniors, and I'm looking forward to it. And the great thing is it's another activity they can do outside of the classroom on their own that's going to increase their learning as well as increase that interaction with the material, which, I mean, that's how many times you used to hear teachers in our days go, "If I could just get a kid to pick up a book." Well, it's on your cell phone, it's on your computer. I'm going to put my materials in front of you.
Well, and I wanted to ask you on the flip side of that, it's so amazing. How does that translate online? This seems like something that could translate quite well. You were doing it in your classroom. Is it possible to do this when everyone's at home?
Yeah, Classcraft actually is online, and it's one that will be more used now as in home at once I actually get a letter out there and tell the kids what it's going to be. Like I said, fourth quarter, I was planning to do this one-on-one. This is going to be more of a supplemental, um, but it'll be one where I'll be able to have the class website, and they'll be able to see where they're at, and they'll be able to see what's happening, and they'll be able to see almost in real time what their quizzes, their scores, and all that do for each other. And the nice thing about Classcraft is as you put them in their small groups, it's got that MMO mentality where you've got a tank, a healer, things like that. So they actually will get benefits from helping each other out. Little
Hmm.
Johnny might have done bad on the test, but Susie and his group did good. Well, Susie can shift some of her Classcraft points to help him get the ability to do it again or to try some answers or use her as a resource. Um, and it's kind of it's going to almost like tribe mentality with them a little bit. Get them to work together to succeed as a group, not just the one in their desk. And that's where I like where Classcraft has a chance to go to it. You'll hear from me throughout the year. Next year, the trial by error. I'm sure.
I know. Well, I can't wait to hear how it turns out. I mean, this is something I remember. Some of the things that I was most engaged with were the things like when you were talking a little bit about your class where it's how the market works, where you actually, even though it was fake stocks, you get to
Hmm.
track them. And those were some of the things that I remember the most and was most engaged with because at least there was something there where it was engaging and interactive. And this is similar. It's like real world. And it's very similar and synergetic to the video games they're already playing. So I'm sure it fits in quite nicely. Well, that's awesome.
Exactly.